Welcome back to Podiatry Marketing. I'm your host, Jim McDannald. Joined as always by my trusty co-host, Tyson Franklin. Tyson, how's it going today?
Fantastic day, Big Jim. Good to be back on here for another episode of Podiatry Marketing, sharing um, sharing our experiences. Probably, I think most of what we talk about is our past experiences, clients we've worked with. So I think it's always good just to give stuff back, and we're not just making things up like some places do.
We've got this is episode number 211, so we have 211. We've shared a lot of different experiences, but it's been a fun journey. And like you said, I always enjoy sharing kind of best practices and things we've learned along the way.
Yeah. Should we tell people we've got a book coming out in the not too distant future?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, we have a book coming out in the not too distant future. Stay tuned. You will hear more about it. I'm quite excited about it myself. So it should be a good read.
Yeah, working hard on it now. So hopefully early in 2026, some of you will get a chance to get your hands on it or get your eyes on it.
Yeah, even just saying that out loud makes it seem more real. Because you put it out there that we're telling people that's what we're going to do. And now we must follow through and complete the task.
Excellent.
Okay, but before we get to that, let's get on to today's topic, which is networking within the podiatry profession. So not outside, within. So I'm not talking about networking to attract new patients to your business. It's about networking to build your podiatry career. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah, this sounds like a good one. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say on this topic.
Okay, so people might be thinking, well, yeah, why should I network or why should you network? So networking, I think it's one of the best ways to accelerate your growth in life overall. Whether you're a podiatry business owner or even if you're just working 9 to 5, you're working for somebody else. It's one of the best ways to actually build your career. By building relationships with people, you will actually accelerate every aspect of your career and you'll do it faster. That's the main thing. Networking speeds up career progression, I think, in all areas.
I think what they say, if you want to go fast, go alone. I don't remember how it goes. Or want to go far. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I think that's
I like that.
yeah. I think it's. I definitely didn't make that up. I've heard it somewhere before, but I definitely think your topic kind of resonates with that quote.
That's a fantastic quote. Make sure you put that in the show notes.
Will do.
There, I'll take it. It's good. So the first part I want to talk about is just networking at podiatry conferences and meetings. Before you go, you need a strategy and a plan before attending the conference. Don't just rock up to a conference. It's not the best way to get the most out of it. And then your goal is to build friendships and authentic relationships. Don't overcomplicate it. The whole time you're going there, you're really just going there to meet people, build friendships over a period of time. And you're not going to become super close friends with somebody maybe at that first conference. It might be something that builds up over time. And don't become that person. I remember someone mentioning it to us, networking Ned or something, that goes bolting around just trying to put business cards in everybody's hands and then just basically running off to the next person. Everybody sees that at conferences, the new eager podiatrists there, and they just want to meet everybody, and everyone knows they have an attention deficit problem. They're here 1 minute, they're gone the next. But you also don't want to be the other extreme where you're the person that's too scared to actually hand out your business card. So you want to be that somewhere in between. That is the best way to do it.
Yeah, I've seen that happen at different networking events as people are kind of learning how to network. There is that kind of two extremes. There's the people that they're running to every booth, they're talking to every person. They're really kind of, I would say, like shallow surface level conversations. And I think it's better to go deep with people. So maybe you didn't meet everyone you wanted to at a conference, or things didn't happen, but you really should have a plan going in. And sometimes it can be beneficial to know, are there people that went to your residency or went to your school, or someone that another podiatrist in the profession, one of their best friends or a colleague, ways you can make like a deeper connection if you do have some of those kind of previous connections with people, or some common people kind of in common with other folks, kind of mining those relationships. I can be very helpful when you're going to different meetings and conferences. But I think, yeah, doing a little bit of homework beforehand and really focusing more on kind of that middle ground where you're not trying to become somebody's best friend, but at the same time,
Yeah.
you're not jumping from booth to booth.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to figure out, what are your expectations? And networking at a conference starts way before the meeting ever happens. It's, you need a list of things that you want to accomplish at the conference. Don't just turn up blindly. Yeah. Are you there? Are you going to the conference just for further education? That's what some people will go to conferences. There's a topic, there's a speaker. That's the only reason they're there. They want to learn something, which is fair enough. You might be there because you want a career move. You might be looking at maybe going from a private practice to a hospital, or going from a hospital to private practice, or you want to just meet some other people that you're thinking of changing. Do you want to meet, you might have your expectation, I want to meet 3 podiatrists in a specific niche. So you might have an interest in podiatry, it might be sports podiatry. You go, oh, I know there's going to be a few sports podiatrists at this event. I want to connect with them, get to know them a little bit more, and ask them questions about how they built their podiatry practice in that niche. Or are you just, well, like I say, are you just digging the well before you need the water? You're getting to meet people, you're getting known in the profession. You might want to meet, I don't know, the people who run the event, the association members or the committee members. You go, I'm going because I want to meet them. I want them. My goal by the time I finish this conference is for every committee meeting or committee member to know who I am, because one day I might want to apply to speak at this conference. And if they don't know who I am, they'll never know. So you're digging that well before you need the water. So if you have ambitions on speaking at different conferences in your own country and around the world, you want to connect with the right people at the conferences, and you want to do it multiple times. You want them to see that you're a serious podiatrist. You're not someone who's just flying in and flying out again.
It is a good point, and kind of be deliberate and kind of pre-planning these goals, I think, is important. Because like you said, sometimes you just want to, when you're first getting to your first conference or something, where you're just kind of learning the lay of the land, what it's like to be at a conference. But after you've been to a
Yeah.
few, having some more deliberate goals about what you want, maybe if you're in residency, you're looking for potential places to practice or people to practice with or to learn about an area, or there's just so many different kind of ways you can go into a conference or a podiatry meeting to get the most out of it, depending on what stage of your career you're in, but also kind of what you want to get out of that event.
Yeah, like I know some people go to conferences and it's purely catch up with colleagues they used to go to, podiatry school with. Some go there more just for the social aspect. It's an excuse to get away from work for a few days. Some people, I've heard them say, it's an excuse to get away from their family for a few days. Yeah, everyone's got different reasons, but I think what I'm talking about here is you are going with the intentions of wanting to network, to get to connect with people for your career. And I think if you want to meet someone specifically at an event, you need to prepare a few months out, because at the event, they are going to be swamped by other people, especially if there's someone that is a renowned speaker. They're going to have heaps of people coming up to them afterwards. So you want to prepare beforehand so you can actually stand out. You might send them an email and you might go, oh, so I hear you're going to be speaking at this event. I'm really looking forward to your topic. Here's an email. Now, that's really easy, and it's also a bit impersonal. So I think you can take it up a level. You might send them a handwritten note or even a card that just saying, hey, I'm really looking forward to seeing you at this conference. I know you're talking about this. I hope we get a chance to have a coffee or something afterwards. The handwritten note or handwritten card is going to mean a lot more than just an email that comes through the other 150 emails I received that day. I've always said, I have a drawer that I keep here where I keep letters, cards that I receive from people. And every now and then I'll go through it and I just read through them. It just makes you feel good. Or if there's something that they like, and I wrote down an example here, a t-shirt, for example. Yeah, I am a large, in case anyone's wondering. But I've gone and done things, and there's been people there who know I like t-shirts, and they might be, say for example, it was Toronto, that all of a sudden they've sent me a Toronto t-shirt. They go, "Oh, here you're going to be at the Toronto conference. Here's a Toronto t-shirt. I heard you're a large." And the thing is, I'm not saying that you must do that with every speaker who's going to be at an event, but if there's someone specifically you want to meet, you might know they know somebody else. Just dig deep, go to their social media pages, scroll through. What are they like doing? Always tell people, if you come into Cairns and you want to connect with me, just invite me out for a hamburger. If you don't know I like hamburgers, then you don't know me. Then when you go, the thing is though, if you've sent a handwritten note or a card, when you go up to them at a meeting, I will guarantee you 100% they will know exactly who you are, because most people don't do it. They might send an email or they'll just come up and talk to them at the event. So, and this will help differentiate. This will help you stand out from everybody else in the crowd. Couldn't say differentiate. So like I said, don't just connect with them on social media. So I've had a lot of people that'll reach out to me and they'll send me a friend request. I look at that. Yep, I know, you know this person. Yeah, I always connect with them. But once again, it's really easy and it's a bit impersonal. If you're going to connect with them through social media, then try and spark a bit of a conversation prior to the event. So that once they're there, they're going to be looking out for you, or you've already agreed, hey, can we have a coffee and talk about this? And it's a great way of doing it.
It's like you said, it's really about standing out. Like a quick
Yeah.
email going to be, something that's probably going to be more of a hindrance to kind of catalyze this relationship or to get it off the ground or at least catalyze a meeting. So yeah, if you can do something that's kind, differentiate yourself. Like you said, they're going to guarantee know who you are, because not everybody does something like sending a card or a large T-shirt in your case. So I think it's a great opportunity to kind of build a personal connection, like you said, even weeks or months before the actual conference happens.
Yeah, one of the things somebody did to me years ago, which I thought was fantastic, and they all of a sudden I got a book in the mail. They went, "Oh, it's unusual." Didn't know who it from. I opened up, then inside the book it said, "Click on this QR code, and all shall be revealed." There was something like that. So I clicked on the QR code. It went through to like a YouTube video, and it said, "Hey Tyson, if you're watching this video, that means you got the book. How you doing? I saw this, came across it, thought you'd really enjoy it. I'm going to be at such and such conference. I look forward to seeing you there. We'll catch up and have a coffee." Now, I already knew who they were. But when I got that, I went, that is a brilliant idea. That is a great way of standing, and then also sending a personal message. Remember when I went to the Foot and Ankle show last year, and there was a couple there, and I shot that video, and they were saying hello to Big Jim Mac. You remember that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, if that couple, for example, who were in that video, if they had just shot that video themselves and just forwarded it to you on social media and say they knew you were going to speak at a conference, and they said, "Hey, Jim, how you doing? This is such and such here. We just wanted to say we're looking forward to your talk. Yeah, at this event that's coming up. And anyway, see you later, Big Jim Mac." And they did that at the end. You would definitely remember who they were if they came up to you at a conference. So yeah, it's be a little bit unique. Now, there's something else. You touched on this before too, about getting a conference buddy. If there's two reasons to have what I call a conference buddy. One, it makes introductions so much easier because your conference buddy may know some of the other people that you want to talk to, but it also means you're never standing alone. And especially if you're a little bit nervous, it might be your first podiatry event, you're not sure. If you've got a friend there with you, it's nothing better than at least you've got someone to talk to than you're just then standing around by yourself, especially if you're going to an event where you may not know a lot of people. You might be attending something overseas. A conference buddy is fantastic.
It's always fun to go, have someone there to go grab a beer with after the conference or hang out in sessions. Like you said, it makes networking a lot easier when you have a wingman with you, a wing woman.
A wing person, a wing person. So, but also like if there's smaller special interest meetings, it might be a big conference, just a smaller group meeting. Once again, having a buddy will help. As soon as you can, this is what I usually say to people. If you go to a small group meeting, as soon as you can, try and identify the most confident podiatrists in the room. And they're usually the ones that are asking really good questions to the speaker, putting their hand up, asking questions without being arrogant. They're not the one go, oh, look at me, I know more than you, I should be up there speaking. They're not the ones you want to try and connect with. But during the first break, when you identify these people, first break, go and introduce yourself. Walk up to them and say, hi, I'm such and such. I thought it was a really good question that you asked. And they said this, but can you elaborate on that? Get them talking about it. It's a really good way. They'll remember who you are because not everyone does this. Then ask if they personally know the speaker. They might know them. And then if they do, ask for an introduction. Unless you've already reached out to them beforehand and you sent them a card or or just something. So you may already have connected with the speaker that way. And the other thing I think when you're meeting these sort of people is do something that makes you stand out even further. So you might compliment them. Giving a compliment is always good. And you might say, hey, that was a fantastic talk. No one's going to come up and say, hey, Jim, that was a real shit talk. No one's ever going to come up. They're always going to come up and say, hey, Jim, that was a great talk. Even if they thought it was bad, they're still going to say it's good. But if you want to stand out, you're going to tell them it's a good talk that everybody else does, but then give another genuine compliment. If they're wearing a shirt that you think is a great shirt, go, hey, by the way, I love that shirt. What's the brand? Or I love that watch you're wearing. Or where'd you get that necklace from? Or if it's female, if you like the earrings, I love those earrings. My wife looked good in those. Where'd you get them from? Something like that. I remember meeting it wasn't our prime minister at the time, but he was running for it. And somebody introduced me to him. And I'd heard this thing about do something that makes you think. I couldn't think of anything. And I reached over and I grabbed hold of his tie and I go, a little tug. I said, nice tie. And he just looked at me and went, I've never had anyone do that before. And then there was somebody there who actually knew me and said, don't worry, by the end of the day, you will know Tyson. But it was just somebody said, just do something or compliment something that makes you stand out from everybody else is there, because the faces do just tend to blend in after a period of time.
I think that's a great point. You really, you don't want to just kind of blend in the background. There's opportunities to kind of stand out and just kind of, I think it's great to take what they, kind of stay away from the kind of generic compliments that people give and do something memorable. And then you're much more likely to get into a different kind of, they're going to see you differently and you can kind of take conversations into a different direction.
Yeah. And like I'm saying, this isn't always just about the speakers at events that you want to connect with. It's just other people at the events. You might be standing there overhead, listening to a conversation. And this is what happened to me in the first year I graduated. I remember going to a conference and there was like one of the main speakers was speaking. There's about 3 or 4 other podiatrists. And I was just listening in to the conversation. And they said something that I felt was something that I wanted to know more about. And I just walked over to the table and here's all these people sitting there, much older than me. And I went, I just overheard you talk about this. That was really interesting. Can you guys tell me more about that? Some of those people are still my friends to this day. That I went out because when I saw them at other events, they remembered me coming up to them and doing that. Plus I bought them a round of beers, which
That doesn't
helps
hurt
as well. That never hurts. But this is something you're going to be prepared for too. People are going to want to know, who are you? So what will you say when somebody asks about your business, because they're going to ask? So be prepared. And I reckon be very specific. So I own, you say the business name, tell them what it is. And my main focus is this. And this is why I'm at this conference. If you can be if you just go, oh yeah, no, I love all aspects of podiatry. Well, age. It doesn't really stand. You might do all aspects of podiatry, but there's something you really like, which was the reason you went to the smaller group conference, then that's what you need to focus on when someone comes up and introduces himself to you.
Absolutely. I think that's great points. if you can't say what you do and articulate it in a short sentence, you kind of miss that opportunity, right? Anything more than a sentence is probably people are gonna start, kind of dozing off. That just kind of you have that chance to make a quick impact, and if you have that rehearsed or you know what you're gonna say, it just makes it flow a lot more easily, and gives people a better idea more quickly about who you are and what you do.
Yeah. And then the next thing, this leads on really well to the eyebrow test. So the eyebrow test is when you tell someone about yourself, if the eyebrows go down, that means you've confused them. And if the eyebrows go up, it means you've actually captured their interest. And if you talk too long, like 60 seconds, and verbally throw up all over them, they won't have any questions and there'll be less engagement. So to always keep the conversation flowing, it's best to just shut up and actually ask them questions, especially if they're the guest speaker. If you ask them a question about themselves and they start talking and then they let you say something and then you say something very quickly and ask them another question. And I've seen this happen where someone's hardly said a word and the other person has spoken the whole time. And then that person's left and they go, geez, they were great to talk to. I'm like, they never said a bloody word. All they do is ask really, really good questions.
I think another quick test that's a little bit different is that whenever you're starting to talk to someone at a conference or a networking event, like you can just like glance down real quick and see like what direction their feet are pointed. I was hearing someone talk about this, and if their feet are pointing directly at you, it's a sign that they're engaged and like they're kind of open to talking to you and are at least interested in maybe hearing what you have to say. But if their feet are kind of pointing in a direction away from you, we see that the more kind of like closer to 90 degrees they are from you, means they're probably like they're ready to move on, or they got something to do, or something's going on. That it may not be they're not interested, but they have something more pressing that they're interested
It might
in.
need to
So
pee.
yeah, that could be it as well. So body language, whether it be eyebrows or direction people's feet are pointed, are definitely two things you can kind of pick up on those cues, this nonverbal communication to help you kind of judge, how the conversation is going or kind of where things are leading to a little bit.
It's funny because I have, you just saying that, I have these flashbacks of certain people that I've spoken about different things, not podiatry things, at different events in Cairns, and someone's come in and they started talking to me, and I've gone, oh. And I do, my whole body language must just go, oh, geez. And my feet have turned. I'm sort of like, I'm ready to bolt towards the hors d'oeuvres, go to the bar, make up some excuse. I'm going to keep an eye on that now. I'm going to watch other people talking.
Yeah.
So I always think it's good too to observe other people at networking events and look at conversations that are flowing well and actually use these other tests, what you just said then. Watch people's feet. If you get two people meet and you see the feet turn, go, my God, Big Jim was right. They got the foot turning technique. You can actually point out to them, go, I notice your feet are turning the other way. You're about to leave, are you? Make them feel really awkward. So watch Jim's feet when you talk to him.
Don't use my strategies against me.
Yeah, might have really abducted feet.
Exactly.
Don't know which way he's going to go. So the last thing I wanted to talk about too was just social media is a networking opportunity. So always network in podiatry Facebook groups the right way by adding value to the group. So don't be selfish. Don't join the group just to get free information. I know a lot of people do that. They'll join the Podiatry Business Owners Club, for example. They're in there just to see what they can get, but they never want to contribute. You could post something and you can see the people where the same names keep popping up, and they're usually the people that are connected with a lot of other people in the group. And they're usually the people, when I'm at a conference, that you tend to talk to because you know who they are through these groups. So be engaging, ask questions and answer questions in the group. And Facebook groups basically be like attending 5 different networking events in one afternoon. You can jump around these different groups, ask different things. When somebody posts something, if you like it, like it. Don't just scroll past and go, I couldn't give a rat's. If you like it, like it. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. Tell them you don't like it. Put an angry face. But do something. Don't just join a group to take. you want to actually participate. And if you're engaging in a Facebook group, only then will you be able to connect further and actually become friendly with people in that group. You can't just reach out to someone and have a closer relationship if you're not being engaging over a period of time. And one of the last things I want to say is just have a look at your profile photo, your bio, any information you've got written in it. Because if somebody meets you at a networking event and they want to connect with you afterwards, they're going to go and check you out. They're going to check your social profile. They're going to look at photos. Are they professional? Have you got a bit of information about yourself? What's the heading on your Facebook page look like? Don't put a photo of your cat. When I get people reach out to me, they go, hey, I want to be a friend. I look and there's a photo of a dog, a cat, a penguin. I don't care what it is. I want to see a photo of them. I want to know who is it that I'm actually connecting with. And this is the final tip, is a quote. The shortest runway to your goals is who you know. So get known. Go there, be known. Get people to know who you are. Anything you want to add on that, Jim, before we wrap up?
Not at this rate. I think you brought out a lot of kind of important topics, and we kind of gave away a couple of strategies as far as networking goes. I think, you have to put yourself out there a little bit. I think sometimes, you can't just stand in the corner and just kind of, whether it be in your marketing or in your kind of career development, if you just kind of stand in the corner and, read your books and hope things are going to go well, maybe they'll be okay. But I think when you, like we talked about earlier, when you get to know people, you build a network of people that are invested in you, you've invested in them, you've gotten to know them, you've shared. It's a lot more enriching experience when you do things with other people. While I was a runner and it's an individual sport, I always enjoyed being on a cross-country team and on a track team and, cheering for other people. And it's the same way in the profession. So when you can build strong relationships in the profession, have other people to cheer for, other people to, have the ups and downs with, it's a lot more rewarding career and professional experience as opposed to trying to go it alone. So, because everyone's going to have up times and down times, and you're going to need some people to lean on during those down times. And maybe it's someone you met in school that you've kept in touch with, or someone you met in a meeting, or someone you got to know locally as another podiatrist. Just get out there, meet people. It's going to help you in ways that you can't even fathom right now.
And people don't leave the profession that have friends in the profession. Yeah, a lot of podiatrists I know who I've seen come and go have been the ones who have graduated. They may have gone to the odd thing here and there, but they really just stuck to themselves and they just disappear. They just leave. But the ones that have actually invested in their career, that really want to meet people and enjoy it as a profession. They look at podiatry not just a profession, but as a career, tend to hang around longer. That's why I wanted to do this particular topic. So that's it for me, Jim. I got nothing else on this.
Right. Well, thanks for a great topic, Tyson. And if people wanted to reach out to you to learn other networking techniques or some other ways, some other physical cues to learn some body language when they're out there networking, how should they get in touch?
Easiest way is an email, tf@tysonfranklin.com. Go to my website, tysonfranklin.com. From there, you can actually see my postal address. Send me a handwritten card if you really want to have an impact.
Or a large t-shirt, sounds like. So.
Oh, a t-shirt in large, yeah. I have about 250 t-shirts. I love t-shirts. My wife just says, no more t-shirts. And the last trip I went on to America, I said, I am not coming home with any t-shirts. I didn't buy any, but I still came home with two because some friends over there own a gym. So they gave me 2 t-shirts, but that's all right.
Yeah. All right, well, Tyson,
okay, Jim. What about you? How do they get hold of you?
What's that?
What if someone wants to get hold of you? What's the best way?
Well, yeah, if someone has questions about, marketing or how to put some of these things we've talked about into action, they can reach out to me at jim@podiatrygrowth.com or, on podiatry.marketing, our website, there's a contact form that you can fill out as well.
Okay, Big Jim. I look forward to talking to you next week.